Hey y'all, hey, we are back for the season finale of All the Queen's Men. Y'all know I didn't get a video up last week, so I'm gonna do a quick little 2-second recap of what happened last week, and we're gonna jump into the season finale. Well, last week on episode 15, Madam gave a very tearful testimony on the stand. They show a picture of concierge's wife's head that was damning to her claims as well. She claimed he made her do it. He's locked in and he took her to the White House, like basically trying to portray him as the mastermind of these things at the risk of perjuring herself. It was a risk that she took that is probably going to pay off. Either way, Fuego gets a random text saying that they saw him and Big D bury the body. Tony is somehow able to get Jean to will her all of his stuff, including his club, before Madam took him out with the peanut allergy cookies. I thought he did not pass away because he was in the midst of the trial. Girl, she didn't give a damn. Took Jean all the way off the map. Okay, Blue had to unalive her therapist even though she helped her out because she knew too much and she knew she could become a witness in the future, so she had to go ahead and take her off the map. Tommy and Madam kind of ran up on her figuring out like what you doing in this building, because that building is where the therapists as well as investigators are housed, and they're trying to figure out like what side you on, and she had to clear that up. Dime confirms her pregnancy child. We don't know who that baby's daddy is. Babyface is sleeping in his car because Quincy is chopping him down one asset at a time, and Carla kidnaps Tony. And that was episode 15 in a nutshell. So let's get into season 4, episode 16, entitled Murder Was the Case That They Gave Me. Okay? I mean, murder was the case. Either way, we see Madam in the courthouse, and she is sending up a Hail Mary to the big man upstairs. She is hard down, like booger snot tears, crying, trying to plead her case for how she ain't never hurt nobody, that didn't deserve it, and how she apologizes for anybody that ever got caught up in the crossfire of her dealings, and how she takes care of so many people. She can't afford to go to jail. Like, this is her, and nobody in the courthouse, but she's crying. She takes care of her dad. She just pulling out all the stops to avoid going to jail. All right. So we see Babyface, and he's still sleeping in that car when Babyface, aka Jerry Brown, gets served a petition for back child support. And so yeah, again, Quincy is trying to chop him down. Took his woman, took his place to stay. His car is going to get taken by the end of the episode. A little bit of a spoiler alert there. His knee is bummed out, so he can't really dance. He damn near in a wheelchair because he messed up his knee when him and Quincy were fighting. So Quincy is like the newest model, and taking him out in the process. And this is, I just want y'all to know right here, right now, I don't feel bad for Babyface, because remember, Babyface is the reason that lady ended up unalive, that lady who had been taking care of him, that lawyer lady. Babyface is also the person that pimped Rayshawn out to Tandy and put him in that awful situation that he was in with her. I don't feel bad for Babyface at all. Let's just make that clear. All right. Carla is dragging Tony out into the middle of a field, and she's about to do what she got to do. Like, she's about to take her sister off the map. Do you have any last words before I peel your muffin cap off? And Carla tells Tony that, listen, it has to be done. You know it's got to be done. You snitched on my father. You're the reason, there's some dissension in the family. You came back here just to try to steal everything from Madam. You got to go. And she's like, listen, I'm tired of having nothing while y'all have everything. And Tony's like, no, listen to me. Look, I don't have that much. If daddy didn't, I barely got a marriage. My son, he's an ex-con. He don't really fool with me. If daddy hadn't willed me Maddie B's, I would have nothing, just like you, girl. Like, I ain't got nothing. But let me tell you who do got something. Madam, she got everything. She got that big, beautiful house. And Carla's like, yeah, I did go over there, and I would never give her the satisfaction to let her know, but the house is beautiful. Everything is gorgeous. She has all this stuff. And so Tony is able to kind of switch it, and now it's a Madam bashing session, right? And she's like, listen, I got to do this, though. And now they're both kind of going back and forth, kind of talking about how Madam is so bougie, and she's always been bougie, and she got everything, and they don't have nothing, blah, 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 blah. Then she tells Carla, like, hey, listen, before you do this, Gene gave me his club before he died, so I can break bread with you. You my sister. I will keep the club, and I'll give you Maddie B's, so that we can kind of team up and join forces to go against the Madam. Okay, whatever. So that's her Hail Mary, and we'll get into how that plays out. So we get to the closing arguments at the trial, and now the jury has been sent off to go make a decision. Of course, everybody's kind of on that break until they make a decision. We have no idea how long it's going to take and how long it did take, but everybody's just kind of reeling out the testimony and the closing remarks, and we'll be back later to figure out what the results are. Quincy tells Rashawn, like, hey, I know I've been over here spending this lady money, but I've been working to get you your payback, my boy. He has made a copy of one of Tandy's credit cards to help him get his get back. And he's like, go on the shopping spree, buy what you want to buy. And at first, Rashawn has been a voice of reason, like, I don't think that's right. I don't think we should do this. But Quincy is able to get him to agree. And that's dumb to me because this lady already put you through the ringer, and you're gonna use her credit card, which is stolen, which means she's gonna press charges. Like, she's the mayor. She's gonna try to bury your ass when she finds out that it's you that has her credit card. And Quincy's is probably more than likely gonna be able to just skirt out from under it. So that leaves you holding the bag yet again. Rashawn is just so naive. He really is. He has no business in this world because he don't use his brain at all. Okay, so we see Carla. She's meeting with Madam, and Madam asks her, like, hey, did you handle a little business for me? Which means that Carla put Madam on the mission to take Tony off the map. And then out comes Tony, and she's looking like, I knew this bitch wasn't going to do it. Like, you double-crossed me. And she's like, I should have known that you didn't have the balls to get this done. And she's like, what did she offer you? What was the offer? To have her still here on planet Earth. What was the offer? And Tony's like, listen, I know. Carla's like, listen, I know Tony ain't shit, but she ain't greedy like you. Like, she's willing to break bread with me, so here we are. And she tells Madam, about Tony promising her the club, and, now they done join forces or whatever, and Madam was like, all right, show, let's get it. So they done double-crossed her, and now she's like, all right, now you hoes done teamed up, and I'm out here by myself. Okay, cool. And I've been out here by myself, so it's nothing. It's really nothing. Yeah. So Dime, she comes running into the restaurant, and she pushing Tony. She tells Tony, you need to stay away from Amp. I don't know what you said to him or what you did to him, but he's been trying real hard to stay sober. You need to stay away from here. You're a horrible mother. Like, you're disgusting. I really hate you. And Tony's like, okay, I'm more than happy to stay away from him. Like, no sweat. And she was like, you really don't give a damn about that boy. And Tony tells her, like, no, Amp is just weak. He's weak. He cannot stay sober. If he backslides, that's on him. That's because he's weak. And she's like, and furthermore, I'm tired of living for him, my husband, for other people. It's time for me to do me. It's time for me to get what I want out of life. So it is what it is. And she's like, I only want to live for myself at this point, and it don't even matter. And Dime, again says, like, you are disgusting. And she says to Dime, girl, save them tears because you're going to need them later. Like, you don't know what it's like to raise a child. You don't got no child. And by the end of the episode, Dime might not have none either, but we'll get it. We'll talk about it. Okay. So the jury rolls back in, and it's somber, and, we're talking to the forewoman gets up, and she tells us what the verdict is. There were 3 charges. I don't remember. I didn't write them down, but let's just say murder, conspiracy, whatever else, all of the different things that she was being charged with. And she was found not guilty on every single count of everything. And of course, D.A. Davis cannot handle it. She burst out in court, so much so that they had to throw her ass up out of there. But now Madam has gotten off scot-free yet again. So we're happy for that. Congratulations. Okay, we see Fuego, and he did some investigation, and he found out who bought the burner cell phone that's been sending him these threatening text messages, and it turns out it was Big D. He bought the burner phone, and he was sending out threats about where the bodies were for the 2 people that they unalived. They unalived 2 people that were connected to Sandra's rape and unaliving that I think Madam set up. So, yeah. So Big D was still thinking like it was a joke, and Fuego commences to beating his ass. Fair enough. He was like, you had me, digging up the bodies by myself in the middle of the night to move them because I thought somebody knew where they were. Like, this ain't a game, blah, 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 blah. So we figured out it's Big D that did it, and those bodies are going to come back to haunt us at least one more time in the finale. All right, so we see Naima. Naima is something. She works at the courthouse. She works for the DA somehow. Remember, Doc drugged her to trying to mess up her credibility as far as being a witness on the stand. She's outside boycotting the club, telling people the doc drugged her. Y'all be careful, hide your kids, hide your wife when you go in this club. They ain't here drugging people and raping people, and I ain't here for it. And Trouble rolls up on her and, you know, punches her out and still takes her sign. And she's like, girl, get out of here. But we both know that she's probably not done. And then Trouble's telling Doc, you know, what just happened. And Trouble offers to beat her up again if she ever come back. And Doc is like, no, that's gonna bring more heat to me. Like, just let it simmer for right now, and I'll deal with that later. And of course, Blue rolls up and she was like, hey, you got 5 minutes to get out there and shake your moneymaker. And what the hell is this about? And he's like, you know, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it myself. And she was like, you ain't got a whole lot of time. You got 2 minutes to get this together, and you need to. We don't need that kind of heat. We just getting off this beat, these murder charges and everything else. We don't need that kind of smoke at the club, so shut it down. All right, so we see one of the jurors, actually the forewoman. She's at the club and she and there with her homegirl. They drinking, they partying, they have a good time. And we learned that she knows Madam, and that of course she's going to be paid handsomely she is being paid tonight handsomely for her services. She was able to of course she's a juror, so she had to convince most of the other jurors to plead not guilty, and that of course helped Madam get off. And Madam pays her for her services and tell her like, hey, you have a good night, this one's on me, and I thank you for your services. So we know exactly how Madam got off. So I don't know why she was in there crying and boo-hooing and pleading with the Lord to get off when she had already set her stuff in motion, but I guess it was too much left up to chance at that point. All right, we see Smoke, and we know Smoke is the hired hand that Madam has brought back onto the team, and he is with D.A. Rots. And this fool got on a judge's getup, uniform, costume. Anyway, he has her in some type of saw-type contraption. He's there to get even for her trying to, you know, prosecute Madam and all that good stuff. And he's basically explaining to her what she's about to experience, the amount of pain, telling her how much easier it'll be if he puts the wet sponge on her head. It's giving Shawshank Redemption. And then he commences to barbecue, frying her ass with no wet sponge. You know, just the most excruciating form of unaliving that he can give out to her. And now she will no longer be an issue for us. But we did see where D.A. Davis, she was about to quit. D.A. Ross was about to quit, and D.A. Davis was like, hey, we still got some more tricks in our bag. Like, we ain't giving up just yet, but girl, it's a bit too late. And it's time for D.A. Davis to, you know, you probably next, unfortunately. Anyway, Tony goes to Carla to tell her the news that Jean's club mysteriously burned down last night, child. Now she don't got no club. She ain't got nothing at this point. So Tony is so mad that she tells Carla, like, I could really kill Madam. And Carla's like, listen, let's just take our losses and walk away scot-free. Because remember, we have gotten off lighter than anybody else that has ever double-crossed Madam. Like, we done crossed Madam multiple times, and we still get to live. Everybody just calm down, right? And Carla and Tony ain't trying to hear it. She ain't trying to hear none of that. And Carla's like, okay, cool. Whatever you want to do is what you want to do. But I will let you work here at Maddie B's with me until you can get back on your feet since your club is burned down. And Tony's like, girl, I hope you think I'm not about to still give you Maddie B's because my club is gone. That's a part of the deal. And Carla is like, that's exactly what. This is exactly what I think you're still going to do because a deal is a deal. I ain't had nothing to do with your club burning down, so don't got nothing to do with me. And Tony's like, girl, I ain't coming up off nothing. You can do what you got to do. And Carla's like, okay. So the deal is off. If your deal is off, so is my deal, which means me attempting to take you off the planet is back on the table. And Tony thinks it's funny. She was laughing in that lady's face, and she was like, girl, you're too weak to pull it off. You're never going to be able to do it. So now Madam has called Carla weak, and Tony has called her weak. And now she's unlocked she, like she said, you don't turn me into a savage. I'm about to show you better than I can tell you. So they're probably going to do a lot of trying to kill each other here from now on out. So we see a flatbed truck, and it is picking up Babyface's car for non-payment. And he's looking like, what you talking about? He was like, I'm here to do my job, and my job only, baseball bat in hand. And he's like, well, I've never had to make a car payment. Well, duh, dummy. Tandy was making the payments because it was a gift to you, but she's now stopped making the payments. And I know it ain't in your name, so yeah. She stopped making the payments, and now he has no car and no place to live. and he's been reduced to pretty much just nothing at this point. And again, I am not in the slightest bit sad because it's Babyface. I don't care. All right. So Madam's doing the groundbreaking for her new daycare complex to try to offset some of the backlash with the club. And, you know, she's taking some hits with concierge and the case and everything that's going on. So she's going to break into a new business venture to kind of bring in some more money. And as she's putting the shovel in the ground, at the groundbreaking, she pulls up a hand. And we see Fuego kind of smirk and walk away. So we know that when he dug up that body, when he was afraid of the little threatening text messages that were coming in, he went and put that on her new land that Tandy was able to, you know, mark as eminent domain. He went and planted that there so that she can have some more smut on her name or go to jail or whatever he was thinking that would happen. Now, of course, that might be traced back to you, and it's going to be the end of you, Fuego, and you have gotten off a little light too, so yeah. Anyway, he's trying to set her up, and we know that. Now it's on Mayor Tandy to pull some strings to make it all go away, because Madam says she owns you. She rigged the election. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You're going to either fix this or your seat as mayor will be open. Like, you're not going to be the mayor. And she's like, well, how is this my fault? She was like, I didn't say it was your fault, but you're going to fix it. Or I'm going to tell, go to the news outlets and tell everybody that your election was rigged. And keep in mind that I know that you did something to your husband while he was in that hospital fighting for his life. So you do what I need to get done. All right. So we jump over and we see Dime. She's at the the clinic, okay, where babies go to sleep eternally, right? That's where she's at, and Amp is just calling her back to back to back, and she's ignoring the calls. So she's probably just like, hey, I don't know what I guess whatever Tony said to her really stuck with her, and the place that Amp is in, and her non-existent relationship with Big D. So she's probably making a decision to like, hey, I ain't with this baby stuff right now. So we'll see what happens. We hear a knock on Midnight's door, and Renee's the girl that blackmailed him into being in a relationship with him, and then she came to the club last episode to say, hey, if I can't be with you, you don't need to be in here dancing with these girls. Well, I'm your girlfriend now, so you don't need to be in here working with these girls. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Renee rushes in, and she has a knife in her hand, and she starts poking him. I mean, she getting in there. She tenderizing his ass. She stabbed the hell out of him, and then she runs out yelling, if I can't have you, no one else will. So Midnight is in there fighting for his life. But not only Midnight. We see Madam. And she's dismissed Blue for the evening. She's like, girl, you can go. Leave me with my thoughts. Tommy will be in an hour, so I'm okay. Just let me enjoy my cigarette. I got it. And so Blue's like, okay, cool, whatever. And someone in a hoodie, which in my opinion appears to be a woman, let me know what y'all think. It appears to be a woman. Comes in with their hoodie on. She's like, well, how did you get in here? How did you get in here? So obviously it's somebody that she knows, and that person shoots her in the chest. She is able to shoot back, and she hits them, but they are able to escape, and it's not looking good for your girl. And that is how the season ends. Madam has been shot. Midnight has been shanked. Quincy is trying to get Rayshawn his revenge while still enjoying the fruits of Tandy's labor. Trouble. We're good with Trouble for right now. Fuego, he's put a target on Madam's back, and that's not going to be good for him. I don't know what's going on with Tony and Carla. I guess they're going to be trying to kill each other. We'll see what happens. Which is probably going to be next season, I'm sure. I think this is the finale. I know I can't never really keep up with the comings and goings of this show, but here we are. Either way, let me know what y'all think. I don't have a whole lot of predictions. Madam is she's not gonna die. That's not feasible. That doesn't make no sense. This is her show. She ain't gonna die. But who do y'all think is next up on the chopping block? Because we already got Casanova. We got the other lady who was always in and out being a spy. So Fuego might be on her hit list. D.A. Davis and Concierge. Those are the three people that I'm sure that's going to be on Madam's hit list next season when she makes it out of the hospital and she makes it back and all that other stuff. So, yeah. Either way, again, that has been episode 16, season 4, the finale of All the Queens Men. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk about it there. In the meantime, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.